Did you do this
Good?
yet?
He said we're good. We can
Good.
start. Yep.
I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Mr. Khalid, if you don't mind.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah.
Here.
Here.
Yeah. All right, well, welcome, everybody. Sorry for the delay. I think we're gonna call it a wind delay, probably. It's pretty windy out, so. So we are being recorded, so anybody who does not want to be recorded, head home and you can watch us on Channel 9, I believe, if John gave us the thumbs up. So, all right, let's get rolling. First thing is the report for the school committee chairman. Not a whole lot this week, just that we don't have any more meetings in December. So I really want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas ahead of time and Happy Holidays to whoever doesn't celebrate Christmas. And I really hope that we all get some good time off with your families, because I think we had 2 weeks off this year, don't we? for
Yep.
school?
Yeah.
So, well, we don't, but they do, yeah. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, nothing like 2 weeks at home with the kids, right, Mike?
I don't have that time off.
A couple things quick is the Winter Band Concert is December 18th. That's next Thursday. I believe it starts at 6.
I think
PM?
it's 7.
Oh, 7.
Yeah,
All right, that could be 2.
that's the high school winter band.
Yes, the high school winter band, yeah. So if you haven't checked the band out yet, you really got to get to one of the shows. They're incredible. They sound a lot like the Boston Symphony Orchestra. I don't know if that's true or not, but they sound good. They sound really good. So, yeah, definitely check that out. And I also want to say, winter sports is starting. You got a lot of turnout for the teams. You got the track team, I don't know, they got like 40-something kids. Is that right, Matt, back there? Yeah. Yeah, so all 3 of the boys are running that, so I'm excited about that. First meet is Reggie Lewis Arena, or my son called it Ray Lewis Arena. I said, that's not the same thing. So, but yeah, we'll see that Friday at 4 o'clock. I believe the girls and boys both open up this weekend. Is that correct, Mr. Sereno?
Boys tomorrow night, girls got pushed back a little bit, so they'll open up next week.
Oh, okay, thank you. All right, but other than that, I don't know if anybody wants to add anything to an opening statement here before we get rolling. If not, I'll hand it off to Mr. Superintendent.
Okay, I'll start, because I have the athletic director here. If he wants to give a quick little update of winter sports. I do have other things, but I might as well get it.
Thank you for having me. I was going to do just a quick fall recap and then just touch base on winter sports. Just highlight some of the strong points from our fall. We had Joe Alba helped bring back cross country for the first time in 10 years. That program went off fantastically. We had one of our athletes qualify and run at the state meet out in Western Mass, so that was great. 2 of our teams made the state tournament, our field hockey team and our volleyball team, which was fantastic to see. We had senior Sean Sewell, who was the second player in the past 2 years to score 100 career points in girls soccer, which was fantastic. We had 10 All-Stars and 4 All-Conference players throughout the fall, along with 4 of our athletes who are being named NEC Lynn Item All-Stars tonight at a banquet over in Lynn. We had Kobe Jett for football, Carlos Miranda for boys soccer, Shay Sewell for girls soccer, and Angelina Dow for field hockey. Also, a little bittersweet news, I just wanted to take this time to thank our football coach, Steve Cummings, who had announced that he's going to be stepping down after 7 years. He's been a fantastic addition to our school system. He's done a great job raising, as a role model for these kids. He's put the football program in a fantastic shape. We're sad to see him leave, but obviously, we understand and respect his decision. He still is going to be teaching on the middle school side, but we just wanted to say thank you to him for his 7 years of service to our school district, to our kids, and for leaving the football place in a great spot. I also wanted to kind of share some exciting news with some of our athletes who are going to be moving on to college to play some athletics. In addition to a few athletes who are already thriving, Madison Botta, who just had a fantastic season up at St. A's. She helped lead them to an NCAA appearance, and also as a freshman is a Northeast 10 all-rookie team and third team overall, which is fantastic. Another highlight is Cam Soroka, who just finished up fall ball at Division I Bryant University. He'll be heading into the spring to play baseball. So those are 2 of our alumni. But we also have a handful of athletes who are moving on to play athletics who have already committed. Nathan Soroka, Cam's brother, is going to be playing baseball at Colby Sawyer. Braden Crawford's going to be playing baseball at Colby College. Justin Bremberg is going to be wrestling at Springfield College. And Allie Mabey is going to be playing lacrosse at the University of Hartford. And this is just now, we're only 3 months into school, so I'm sure we're going to have a handful more athletes who are going to be attending college and playing sports as well, which is exciting to see. And then for our winter sports highlighted by, we have a new hire with Taylor Bogdansky, who's taking over the girls basketball program, former alumni here, teacher in the Belmonte, so we're super excited for that. And then as Tom had said, our numbers are looking strong once again. Our track program's up to 50 kids. Our boys and girls basketball programs are in good shape. Boys will be led by Coach Bertrand again. Our hockey program has 10 kids this year, which is fantastic, and only one of those kids is a senior, so I'm very optimistic with those numbers, and it looks like there's a strong showing in the 8th grade as well as the 7th grade, so that's a positive sign for us. We have some more girls participating in our co-op again that we started last year for gymnastics, so we have an additional girl doing it this year, which is great. We have our 2 swimmers doing swimming with the Northeast Vogue, so I'm really excited about where the winter is projecting, and I think it will be a fun winter. We have boys basketball if you're around. They'll be hosting Salem tomorrow night at the high school, and then the track team is away over at the Reggie Lewis.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr.
All
Serino.
right.
Thank you.
Let's finish
Can I
up.
ask one question, Mr. Serino? The hockey program, not to put you on the spot, how many kids would it take to have a team?
In an ideal world,
Yes,
you'd
sir.
want 16 to 18 skaters and a goalie,
Thank
2
you.
goalies maybe.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Yeah, the goalie would help, I think, yeah.
it'd be helpful.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so continuing on, I do want to wish, because this is the last meeting, wish everybody the happy holidays, and there is a 2-week break for students and staff, which would be nice. As far as calendar items, I did want to give everybody the budget rundown. We're going to have my presentation on January the 8th. That was something you asked me to lock down. That'll be my presentation. I'll give you the budget packets before. You just listen to me, take any notes you want, and that's really it. We'll have that at 5 o'clock. That'll be my presentation on January the 8th. The budget hearing's already been announced. It's gonna be Thursday, the 22nd at 6 o'clock. And then we have January 28th, we'll send the school committee budget to the town manager, and on the 30th to the Board of Selectmen. So just to give the new members a quick overview, what happens is we'll put together the budget with my team. I present to you the superintendent's budget. That's what I'll do on the 8th. On the 22nd, we go back and forth and work out a budget together. And then once that's approved, that becomes the school committee budget that goes forward to the town. So that's the process. I have a couple of policies that need to go before the policy subcommittee, so I will work with Ms. Mastrokolitis to get those policies up. There's a couple updates one's an updated one from MASC, which is JJF, and then GBEBD is another one that we need to upgrade as well. So I'll work with the policy subcommittee. It'll be after break, but since there's no other meeting, so whenever you want to schedule a meeting after break for policy subcommittee, we can do that. The school calendar options, a lot of the districts have already approved it. I have a bunch of options. I will send you that either tomorrow or early next week, and that's something you guys can look at. I'm giving you options. There's really 3 focus areas. It's basically when we start that's going to be an issue next year. We're not going to get the 2-week break for Christmas because Christmas and New Year's is on the Friday, so we won't have the full week. But the big issue is Labor Day is as late as it could possibly be. So it would be either we start after Labor Day, which would be, I think, on the 8th of September, start the Monday before Labor Day, which is August 31st, or the Monday before the Monday, which would be the 24th, which is a day earlier than we did this year. It's only a day, but it does include an extra weekend that I think people might not want. So just be thinking about that, and I'll send you as a group those. Don't reply to the email because I'm just sending it informationally. The tree lighting happened at last week. The band did perform there and did a great job.
Yeah, for an hour in the cold.
Yeah, it was in the bitter
Yeah.
cold. We do have all, as the chair said, we do have concerts coming up everywhere. There's the Belmonte concerts. That's next week, Monday and Tuesday, but there's during the school day. The Veterans concert, I can't remember, but that's next week as well, during the school day.
Friday.
And- Yeah, Friday, yeah. And then we have the middle school band and chorus is Wednesday, the 17th. So that's a week from today at 7. And then the high school is band and chorus on the 18th at 7 o'clock. So that's what's happening there. And the last update I have, I did coordinate with the Safe Routes to School person and the high school, middle school principal about getting, scheduling bike safety meetings for our grades 6 to 12 students. So that will be something they will do in January. There'll be assemblies for those grades during January to basically educate the students on the rules of the road, any safety and regulations they should be aware of. And Safe Routes to School is providing that service for us as
Great.
part of the partnership that we already have with them. And I think, if I haven't missed anything, that's all I have for my report.
All right, well, thank you, sir. Anybody got any questions for him before we, about the report?
No, I'll ask her, no.
If not, then we'll move on to the report of the Saugus High School student representatives.
I don't think we have any today.
Okay, then we'll go right past that. Next is new business, the MCAS presentation.
Okay, it'll start with me, so it's right back at me, okay. So I do want to preface this, I'm gonna have my team present, so you'll hear from Mr. Blair, you'll hear from Dr. Scazzarella, Ms. Turbin, and our math coaches, so I do want to go through a quick little overview. We do understand that the MCAS exams are no longer being used as the competency determination for graduation, but ultimately, they really never have been for any other grade other than the high school students that take it. So they are still something that counts towards our accountability rating, and they are a normed assessment that does level mastery of the curriculum that we're supposed to be striving towards. So it is a valuable metric to analyze and monitor for student success. Our results last year were pretty much the same as previous years. We went slightly up or slightly down or stayed pat depending on the grade and subject level. They're not where we want to be, but we do have plans in place, and I don't want to steal everybody's thunder, so as I sit here talking, I know they're going to get worked up a little bit because I might be saying what they're going to say. But we do have a well-aligned curriculum. Scope and sequence is all set. But again, we do want to make strides, and they've done analysis, but it's already December, so they haven't let the year go without making changes already, so they'll explain to you. You have the data packets with you. Those are the data they looked at, or some of the data. And if you want any more data, feel free to ask, and we can get you any data that you need. But I am confident that in our product of what we have, we are using highly qualified instructional materials that we're able to purchase through ESSER funding, so that is what the state is recommending. A lot of districts are now scrambling to get that. We're constantly looking for different ways to improve teaching and learning. We're aligned, and now our curriculum has been implemented, and the teachers have been trained on it. One of the focus areas that everybody has got to get accustomed to, and we're well ahead of the game on this, is focus on student learning, not just the teaching element, because we have curriculum, we have teachers, but the next step, the real connection piece, is student learning. And there is one thing that I think that people are not aware of or think. We do have benchmarking in all these programs, so it's not, the MCAS are not the first time we realize that students are struggling. It's not the first time that teachers are looking at the data and then making an effort to change instruction or supplement instruction or correct course of action. We do have benchmarking already in place. So I'm very confident in where we're going. And I think after you hear from the principals and the curriculum staff, you'll be confident in that as well. So we're going to start the presentation with our principal of the Belmonte STEAM Academy, Mr. Black.
Yeah.
Do you want to project it as a?
No,
Oh, that's not you. No, it's not you. Got it.
So you've got the packets in front of you with the data? Okay, great. And those, we could sit here and kind of go over those. I can tell you, save you some time. It's some scores that maybe don't go over, too much over 50% if they do that at all. And that's for the 3, 4, and 5, for reading, math, and science. And, you know, I'm new here at the Belmonte, and I would like to see those improve. And we've tried everything that can be tried, and I think it's a credit to the, having worked at the Belmonte as long as I have, credit to the teachers, coaches, and everybody else to try and make those scores reflect better teaching and learning. One thing that I can do, other than supporting those efforts in making our school culture better, is for the students to start taking ownership of how they do on those tests. And I think there's some results we can maybe squeeze out of them a little bit, partly not only in the when they're taking the test, but when they're, you know, when they're right now, when they're in the classroom, and having them take that more seriously. So I have a little presentation I'd like to show you. Every Friday morning since I've been here, and this extends back to when I worked at my last district in New Hampshire, I've done a weekly video for the kids. It's a school culture thing. It's a 10-minute long announcements video, and one of the things I've tried to do is kind of get the kids kind of with me a little bit, you know, and make it so that the messages I give them are positive and affirming and humorous or whatever else, so that when it's time to give them a very serious message, I'll have maybe their attention. And they're going to get one tomorrow about MCAS, which will be happening in the spring. So I have a video for you that I'll show you here in a second. As soon as I can get it to run. By the way, this is going to be like eating glass, watching people watch my stuff. I'm not going to like this. Usually I'm far away when this gets shown. I hide in my office. But now I got to face the music. I don't like that, but here we go.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris Blair, principal of Belmonte STEAM Academy, and as part of tonight's MCAS presentation, I'd like to share with you an element of motivating our students, the announcement videos that I produce for our school each Friday morning. The videos are about 10 minutes long and take about as many hours a week of my own time to produce. I share coming events.
Veterans Day is Tuesday, November 11th.
Student achievements.
It's actually pretty good with the map of Massachusetts.
Weekend birthdays.
Aria B in grade 3.
The pledge. And given the name of the school, I also put together STEAM segments. Here's one with me and some kids launching a video camera on a model rocket to see if we could spot the ocean from Belmonte. Students seem to like the videos, which makes them the perfect vehicle to get points across that they might otherwise tune out.
4th and 5th grade teachers, please review my expectations with your classes.
And since we'd all like to see higher test scores, here's tomorrow's message using sports to help it all make sense.
Getting caught up with the world of sports. The New England Patriots have won their 10th straight game of the 2025 season, rushing out to a 17-0 lead and never looking back, knocking off the New York Giants 33-15. All of this got me thinking about what it takes to make a great team. Great teams have great players, that's true, but they also practice hard to become great. And even when they lose a game, they figure out what they didn't do well, and then they fix it, and then they try again. They don't sit around making excuses, and they certainly don't quit. I'm sure you all know the name of the last great, famous Patriot quarterback, Mr. Tom Brady. He won the most Super Bowls of any quarterback in history, and 6 of them were for the Pats. But it wasn't always easy for Tom Brady. When he was in college in 1996, he played for the Michigan Wolverines. Here's his first pass as a college football player. Oh boy. Interception for a touchdown. Not good. But I'm sure you know that old Tom Brady got better. He didn't sit around
think we did in that league last year? If we compared the scores, do you think we're at the top of the league? Were we at the bottom? Are we somewhere in the middle? And how do you think we can do, more importantly, this year? We will talk about that after we get back from break. Until then, talk about my league with your teachers and your parents and amongst yourselves. And in the meantime, I want you to practice hard. Work hard in school. And when it gets tough, I want you to do the thing I asked you to do in the very first video in August every day and try. And if things feel like they're getting harder, try a little harder. And yes, this is also true of those of you who get extra help. Keep trying and don't give up. That's the best thing you can do, because the next Reading, Math, and Science Super Bowl is coming in the spring. And I think we're going to do real good if you want it.
Oh, boy. So, anyway, that's my approach to it, and as soon as I'm done here tonight, I have to go home and work till about 2 in the morning getting the rest of that done. But anyway, so that's just my attempt to motivate everybody. I think we've done everything, and that's every district I've ever worked in, to try and get scores better, to get learning better, and we've done everything except get the kids to own their own performance, own that score, find out what they're doing. And to the coach's credit, Coach Ragucci and Kristen, why am I blanking on her name? What is it? Barclay. I knew that, Barclay. To their credit, recognizing the kids that do really well. We had an assembly earlier, and I'm going to be adding that here for tomorrow. They get certificates if they have the most growth. We recognize the kids that exceed. But I think we need to get everybody kind of on the same page, and adding this imaginary competition with neighboring districts was a thing that we're going to try, and we'll see how that goes. So anyway, that's it. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, no, I just think that the approach is awesome.
Okay.
We haven't
Yeah.
seen that before, there's really not a lot of motivation behind the MCAS, it's not like this, not like you're trying to do right now.
Right.
We haven't really seen that in this district so far, so I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. Love it.
Thank you.
I can say that my daughter at the Belmonte talks about your video every week.
Oh,
And
that's
so
great.
does all the kids that are around. So it's working. And I think that it made me understand what was going on a little better. So I think it'll help my kids too. and
That's
all the
great.
kids.
It is hard to, when you take the MCAS and you tell these kids, well, this test doesn't really count, but you gotta take it and,
Right.
you lose the kids after 10 minutes,
Well, and also, I'm sure these folks have heard me say it enough, you can fake a bad score, you can't fake a good score. So I do get the feeling that just if we were to even get them kind of motivated to finish and do their very best, we might squeeze 5 to 10. They're probably better, 5 to 10% better, I don't know, than what you're seeing there. But you're probably seeing some kids probably racing through it. But if they know that they got to take their time, maybe get that last one right, maybe we get a better understanding of how good they actually are. And I think that's one thing that we're missing out on.
Yeah, no, I'm sure if you ask the teachers in the classrooms of some of these kids that are performing below what they should be,
Right.
in the classroom, they're performing where they're supposed to be, It's a big difference when you gotta take that test and when you actually do it every single day,
Right.
So I'm sure it's a key factor for them.
Right.
Anybody else got any questions?
In the enrichment program, we don't do MCAS like extra,
They do have tutoring and in math and English, so there is an element to that. And I know the high school's gonna do that as well, starting in once the calendar flips.
yeah, I think that would be huge.
Yeah.
I have a generic question on, we had a vision when we put the new curriculum in and started doing the training of how we were going to improve over so many years. This is our third year, our fourth year? What's this year? We're in the third year, right?
Correct.
Do we have a metric based on what we had as a vision 3 years ago, what we thought we would improve?
No, we knew the first couple of years of implementation were gonna be a struggle. because-
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're probably we're not where we hoped we'd be, but we're probably where we expected to be.
Okay.
Again, like I said, this is not where we wanna be. We want our students to perform at a higher level.
Sure.
And that's what we want. So, we're not where we are, but we're heading in the right direction. And again, it does take a couple of years of implementation
Absolutely.
to get into the flow of it and get the students to understand. And once you see it happen a few times, and we have had areas of success that have really shined.
Yeah.
So I think if you're used to the curriculum, and not only the teachers, the students, it's a different way of asking the questions. Now, I can only, quote, my daughter at one point did say that when she took, probably the 8th grade MCAS right at the beginning of the implementation, her response to me that I really liked to hear was that it was exactly like we do it in class, so it wasn't that hard or different, which is exactly what you want to hear. Do well, don't do well, but if it's what we predicted it happens, that's really the measuring stick. Because I realize, I've taught MCAS subjects myself, I've taught AP subjects myself, and as a teacher, you want to hear the kids it was familiar to them. If it was familiar, then we were pointing in the right direction. Whether we reached the height we wanted to,
Yeah.
yes, no, maybe, but at least we're pointing in the right direction.
Well, it's also
Yeah.
important to point out that before the coaches, we
Yep.
didn't have that. We
No.
had some teachers teaching their own stuff and not
Yep.
teaching the curriculum. And
Absolutely.
before the coaches got here, so now, we gotta give it a couple of years to
Right.
really kick in and, they're doing a
Right,
great
I know
job,
there was
so.
an expectation
Both
to
you
be
guys
a
back
few
there.
years. The second part of the question was, how closely does the MCAS mirror our curriculum?
We can save that question because our.
Is that gonna be, that's gonna be
It's
coming?
come
I'm
up, but
sorry,
it's,
I'm sorry.
we have adopted the curriculum that the state wanted us to adopt.
Understand,
So it's aligned.
thank you.
Mr. Chair, I just have one more quick
Sure.
question. The ESSER funding, I know that you said that we bought all that curriculum from the ESSER funding and we were fortunate enough.
Yep.
I should ask the coaches or Sue, how long does the curriculum last? Like,
No,
is it like an iPhone where
No, it's
we're
not-
like 2 years
It's
from
an
now?
ongoing cost because some of it is consumable. So there is a cost year to year. It was just, we got the initial funding, we got the training, we got the big pieces, but we do have to purchase curriculum every year.
But how long does that, I guess what I'm not in education, so how long does that, are we looking at 5 years where we have to, again, I don't know what the curriculum cost. If it was $10,000, are we looking at another $10,000 in 5 years? Or do we just?
We're looking at that money every year because right now we have to buy materials every year. Because a lot of the elements of the curriculum are consumable. Kids
Yeah,
get the
I guess I'm
book-
just
So it's
wondering how we're gonna-
it's an ongoing cost. As far as predicting when the whole curriculum will shift,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know if in 5 years you have to get the updated, that's, and I also don't know what this costs. So I'm just thinking budget-wise with making sure that we are staying on the right path of.
I've been around too long because we went from no standards to, we've gone through probably more than a dozen sets of standards, and I can specifically talk about math, and including going and shifting to the Common Core standards. So we bought books that were aligned, and then they weren't aligned, and then they were aligned, and so it's a
Okay.
never, you really got a target, and it's going all over the place. So I'd like to say they're gonna stand firm by the standards they have right now, and with the style of questioning they're gonna ask, but you never know, and it's one of those things.
Well, it's a
that's-
money-making business too. I mean,
Well,
let's face it.
Yeah,
It's,
I don't wanna say that.
I
but
will.
mean,
Well, I will.
but-
It's a money-making business. I mean,
No.
let's face it, curriculums are, so that's all I'm worried about is we had the funding because of the ESSER.
but-
Because of the ESSER, we had the ESSER funding, we were lucky enough. If we didn't have that, would we not have been able to? So that's all I'm
Right, yeah,
kind
right
of
now,
projecting
yeah.
and wanting to see in the future.
We would need a lot more funding if we were gonna completely, reconfigure the curriculum and go with a whole new sequence. A lot of the cost is professional development
Okay.
and, training the teachers on it, but at least that's where we got the biggest edge. What's happened now is, and again, I'm putting other hats on, when I was first ordering textbooks as a math specialist, you ordered the series of textbooks, they gave you all the teacher materials, and there was a point in time where they gave us all CDs that had the textbook electronically, and then they had it online, and those were the giveaways back in the day. They gave us that. Now everything is virtual, and it's licensable, And now you can't, it's always gonna be a moving target.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, and maybe we can talk offline when
Absolutely.
about making sure that we have, I mean, what's the point of, we gotta keep moving forward, like this 3-year, like, I don't all of a sudden wanna sit up here 2 years from now and it's like, well, we couldn't afford, like, we need to be
We
proactive
have-
instead of
We
reactive.
have to invest in keeping the curriculum current.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Just to piggyback on that, if the lessons learned and the results of the curriculum, I'm sure there's gonna be tweaks every year based on the feedback we get and the results. But the base core curriculum hopefully would stay fairly stable for a long period of time, right?
Hopefully.
Or do we,
I mean,
That's my- right, that's
the
my-
moving target I'm talking about is, there was, back with the race to the top and that shift from MCAS to Park Test
Yeah.
and Common Core,
Yeah.
that was a huge thing, that was gonna be the future. We were gonna take Park Test, MCAS was gonna be gone, and then, never mind.
Yeah.
okay,
So, I'd like to say with confidence, and I like to, but I don't know.
okay, thanks.
Next up is, Dr. Scazzaro. Sorry if I stole any thunder here.
That's a tough act to follow. That beats my xylophone at the end of the day when I'm trying to get the kids to decide what they're doing besides sitting and hanging out. You all got in your packets, I think, a brief explanation. So I'm just going to touch on the highlights, and then I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. I'll start with math. And I think you see in all our grades, 6 through 8, we've shown some good promise. We've either gone up proficiency-wise, or we've had good student growth. It is the second year in a row that our 8th grade students are #1 in the state for student growth. And I do want to recognize our 2 8th grade teachers, Mark Sharanda and Jim Fitzgibbons. They work really hard with our students, make the math doable, applicable, enjoyable on many days. And our students at the 8th grade level are really working to their capacity and above. We had one perfect score in 8th grade, which is something nice to brag about. In the 10th grade, we are holding steady, and I think the important thing about high school is what Mr. Hashem said, Superintendent Hashem, about it's no longer a graduation requirement, so I might need some videos for motivation. But it is part of our district competency determination, and it does count towards our accountability. So making sure our sophomores focus on those tests will be even more important going into this spring. We had 2 perfect scores in our 10th grade test takers also. We have 2 new 7th grade math teachers, so the hope is that they will be working between 6th grade and 8th grade, emulating the positives that are going on, and we're hoping to see some bigger growth spurts in 7th grade math with the 2 new teachers in the mix now. And I think Andrea is going to talk about a grant, or maybe Susan, whoever's speaking later, a grant that the district received from the Department of Ed that's focused on transition with math. And I think it's 5 through 7. We're focusing, of course, on 5th grade to 6th grade, and then 6th, obviously, to 7th, but really important on the 5th grade to 6th grade. So Chris and I have already started to have some conversations about what might help teachers in both places have a feel for what students should be doing and what they should know when they get where they're going, and how to accelerate that and to make sure that the kids are confident in what they're doing. English language arts, I would put it as a lump for 6 through 10. It's sort of a mirror all the way through for those tests. There was progress. There was 1 perfect score in 6th grade, 2 perfect scores in 10th grade. And as we looked at the data earlier in the fall when we got the information, the one thing that's jumping out to us is that our writing, 6 through 10, is in where it should be. So that's a place for growth for us for sure, and I would describe that as sort of a low-hanging fruit. That's an obvious component that we can work on every single day and not just in English classes. Kids should be writing everywhere. And so after the first of the year, we'll be putting some emphasis on writing across the curriculum, across all grade levels to get our writing improved, make sure our students understand when they're asked particular questions, what their best way is to start that response. And I think the data shows that that is a weak place for us, and we can certainly work really hard to improve on that. You also saw some scores for 8th grade science, where we definitely had an increase in proficiency. If you looked at the high school science, we stayed about the same, and I did make a change along with the science program coordinator that was in place last year. We moved biology to 10th grade. Biology is a difficult subject, lot of vocabulary. Not always a good measure of mastering that subject area in 9th grade, because 9th graders do struggle with some of that. So we moved it to 10th grade. All of our 9th graders have environmental science, which is a better introduction to science. So we'll have only 2 groups of students taking the biology test this spring. It's the honors. There are 2 9th grade honors biology classes. So we'll see how that goes, and then next year, the bulk of our 10th graders will take biology along with the English and the math. You also saw a score for civics in 8th grade. That's a new test. We test piloted it for a couple of years. Last year was the first year that it was given, and we got scores back on it. There's obviously room to improve there. I think the 8th grade social studies teachers were disappointed, which is a good thing, in the scores, which means they thought that they had covered certain things, and I know that they're diving into that data to look at potential areas for improvement moving forward. Things maybe that were on that test that we didn't do in great depth, or maybe there was some short answers that students weren't prepared for. Again, that goes back to the writing. So that's another area where we can certainly go in a better, more positive direction. At the very end of that packet you got from me was 2 of our AP tests I wanted to highlight. We offer, last year we had 10, this year we have 12 because we added chemistry and physics for this current year. But AP World History, we had 89% of our students scored a 3 or higher, and the state average was 78% of students scoring a 3 or higher. So our kids did do quite a bit better than the state average. And Mr. Fontanella is the teacher of the World History. And AP Pre-Calculus had a fantastic showing last year, which was the first year they gave it, and we got scores back in the summer of '24. This year, we had 100% of our students in AP Pre-Calculus score higher, a 3 or higher, and the state average was 83%. So our students in that AP Pre-Calculus class are doing great work. The teacher in there is Ms. Crapo, working really, really hard with our students. And I am hoping to see a bump potentially in our AP Calculus class, because now we've got this AP Pre-Calculus in place. Our students are really focused on that higher level math, and I'm hoping that it translates into some higher scores at the senior course, which is the AP Calculus. So that's about it. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I do have one question. How does it go from 15% in 2024 for math, grade 7, to those same kids coming up to 49%? Where is the disconnect there? It seems like a huge gap.
It is a big gap.
And it seems, again, I'm not an expert,
Yep.
and I know everybody's doing, all the coaches have been working with this, but it seems like if I'm teaching 7th grade, and the guy in front of me is teaching the exact same kids and go up to 8th grade, and he's doing that much better, don't they get together and talk and say, hey, you guys should try this, and, because those are the same exact kids.
Yes, and
So-
you're 100% right, and that is some of what we've changed. They are getting together. The two teachers in the 8th grade have certain methods that are tried and true and clearly working for them.
Mr.
So we are
Schrender,
trying to
Yeah.
make sure that
That was
that's happening
Well-
in the other 2 grades. And as I said, we do have 2 new people in 7th grade, 1 experienced teacher, 1 brand-new teacher. They're working really well together. I've
Good,
been in
good.
their classes, Susan's been in, Andrea's been in, Andrea's working with them. We're focused on that math, and that is a gap. And it's not, some of it's a little bit of maturity, 7th to 8th grade, but also there is definitely the teaching methods. So we're trying to share the wealth and get people on board. And again, that curriculum is been in about 3 years now. We've got students who are coming through that curriculum and should be more prepared coming from 6th grade. So we're hoping to see I hope this spring's scores reflect what we're doing in 7th grade right now.
Yeah, well, I can see already that, looking back, there's for the last 4 years before this year, they never even cracked 19% for students meeting or exceeding, and now they're at 24%.
Yeah.
So, I
We're
guess,
getting there.
whatever you're trying is, hopes to be working, but I just think it's just a huge gap, I can't get over that.
We
Just-
agree.
Just one comment I was gonna make too is like, obviously, classes change, right? There are new joiners, there are people that leave. So I think if we really wanted to set a standard and see how we've improved year over year, you really have to look at the same kids from 6th, 7th, and 8th. Because if you add 20 new kids who came from different districts, different teaching, wherever, it could skew your numbers. So it would be, and I don't know where this report came from, but it'd maybe be nice if you could see that, like, this was this group.
One of the measurements is,
6th, 7th,
the
8th.
growth measurement is the student's own personal growth from year to year to year. So that's the student that exists. So their overall, like, they get an overall growth percent, they fall in an overall growth percentile. It's an elaborate formula of how the state does it, but simply put, it determines how Mike did in the 6th grade compared to the 7th, compared to the 8th. And that number, and that's where the 8th grade is really soaring, is the students are improving from wherever they came from. So that improvement metric is,
And that makes,
It's
that's
built,
like,
yeah.
that's a show
Yeah,
that
yeah,
we have a
exactly.
good process, right?
Yeah.
So even if they came from a different district, that they
Yeah.
still improve.
I do think, though, that we can disaggregate the data that you're talking about, which is our students who were here in 6th grade, here in 7th grade, and here in 8th grade. What do their scores look like for growth? I think that we can pull that out, and I can.
It
I'm
would just be
happy
interesting to see
It would
side
be.
by side how, I mean, there should be a gap, right? Because they're coming from somewhere different, it's different teaching philosophy sometimes, so.
Yeah, in some of the schools that they either transfer in from or transfer back to us from, the curriculum is different.
Yep.
Every district has different options available. So if you're interested, I can definitely try to pull that out.
Yeah, if
so
you
we
can, it'd be great to
just
see.
share it, and you can see what it looks like.
Yep.
yeah, that's actually exactly what I was gonna say. The same thing Mr. Doherty said was, I was curious, the fluctuations between kids coming in and out, kids actually attending school, now that you have, well, really, I mean, you've cracked down on that makes a huge difference. So, yeah, I'd be very interested in seeing that as well. What I did want to ask, which you answered in the chair's question, was, do the math teachers share their secrets? Like, my son had Mr. Fitzgibbons, and he's amazing. So, do they talk with each other? But you answered that.
They do, but not as much as they should. And again, a change that'll come next year with our schedule is there will be, similar to the elementary buildings, we'll dismiss 2 times a month, a little early, an hour ahead, so that I can have those kinds of conversations.
Awesome.
Right now, they don't have common planning time, even
Yeah.
on the middle school side of the building, which typically middle schools build that into their schedules. We don't have that ability right now. Hope maybe sometime we will, but for next year, we will definitely have time. And what I've asked people to do for the moment is, we're using Monday afternoons as one of their 2 days after school. I'm asking people to do a half an hour of collaborative time we've been working on the things for our accreditation, but once we kick into January, I do plan to have time for teams to talk to each other, departments to talk to each other, and at least get some of those conversations happening in a small amount of time. 30 minutes isn't a lot, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because I always compare education with healthcare. I mean, I work with senior nurses and then I teach younger nurses, and when we look at something together, I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. So it's huge. And then just one more thing. Do we recognize the kids that get the perfect scores, or the kids that not always have the perfect scores but have had like the most improvement? Like, do
Last year,
we-
we recognized the whole 8th grade. We had a little pizza party.
Okay.
We had a pizza party for them. We probably will do something similar. The bigger group is that group that gets the Adams scholarships. That's connected to MCAS and excellence in MCAS. So that is a group I just had a couple
Okay.
weeks before Thanksgiving. Actually, it was the Thanksgiving week, where we gave they get a scholarship from the state for state universities if they choose to use it. And it's worth, I think, having the parents in and recognizing their hard work, because
Yeah.
they didn't have to focus.
100
And they did. So,
But I also-
students moving forward that get that scholarship, that says a lot about their work ethic and how they're focused on that test as sophomores.
Yeah, I mean, I'd even like to have them here, just to praise them,
All
and
47 of them?
it's nice. You know what? If it's 40,
That might be nice.
I wish if it's 108 of them, I'd
The
like
hope
to.
is we'll have more.
I just think that they need to be recognized a little, not by you. You're doing the best you can do. I'm just saying it's nice to. You just said they stay focused, and then even the kid that's at home and he or she is not always the academic scholar, like me, that would have liked a little bit of recognition for like, wow, man, you killed it this time. So
Yeah.
that's all. Yeah, we can work on that. Thank you.
All right.
Anything else?
Next up
Thanks.
is the Executive Director of Teaching and Learning, Susan Turbin.
Yeah, we can put up, but yes. Hi, how are you? I'm glad that you asked some really important questions, and I'm super happy that what will come after me will address specifically what you asked for. But like Mike said, over the past 4 years, I'd say 3 to 4 years, we've heavily adopted new curriculum, which has been really difficult. And I do want to constantly praise the teachers for all the work that they've put in. But I just want to quickly go over that list, because I know some of you are new and might not be aware. In the early literacy, we adopted the Haggerty. We also adopted Foundations, and Wit and Wisdom, and Geodes. And that was in, Wit and Wisdom was originally K to 5. We then expanded Wit and Wisdom to be in grades 6 through 8. We adopted at the high school level Common Lit 360, grades 9 through 12. In math, we upgraded our elementary math curriculum to the more current 2024 version, that's K to 5, and implemented Carnegie Math in grades 6 through 11. Other subjects, middle school science was Open Sci-Ed and investigating history. And we just this year adopted a district-wide ELL curriculum, and that's K to 12, Vista Higher Learning. So again, I want to compliment the teachers. It's really difficult to change what you've been doing for years, to pick a new curriculum that's really high quality, high level, hard for us to adapt and hard for the students. It takes 3 to 5 years. That's what all the research shows, that 3 to 5 years to start to see the results. I know that Mike said, we are seeing internal results. So it might not be reflected in an MCAS score, but we do have assessments along the way that we analyze, look at student data, and say kids are achieving at higher levels. Another thing we do is we constantly look for professional development through grants or outside providers to help to continue to support that implementation and help teachers and students to do the best they can. One example is Upriver Education, Dana French, and she's been helping us for the past 2 years in how we support our English language learners. So she's been doing PD and walkthroughs K to 12, and it's been very well received. One competitive grant that we just recently received was through the Department of Ed. And it, again, speaks exactly to what you were just asking about that disconnect in the math. So I've invited the coaches to come, and they actually will speak about it, and you can ask them questions.
Awesome.
Right. Good evening, everyone. My name's Andrea Wheeler. I'm the secondary mathematics coach, 6 through 12.
And I'm Tracy Ragucci. I'm the elementary math coach.
Tonight, we're going to talk to you a little bit about the MTSS Math Academy grant that we got. MTSS is another educational acronym, which stands for Multi-Tiered Systems of Support. Last June, we became aware of a competitive grant opportunity offered by the Department of Education that focused on tiered instruction. Tiered instruction is when students have the same curriculum goal, but there's different pathways that they can take to reach that goal. So under the guidance of Ms. Susan Turbin, I wrote the grant proposal, and I was extremely happy when I was notified that we were 1 out of 11 districts in Massachusetts that was chosen to participate in this 3-year grant. We secured this grant because we had some structures that were currently in place, such as 2 math instructional coaches, common planning time at the elementary, and established high-quality curriculum materials. At the elementary, we've been using Envisions for the last several years, and at the secondary, we've been using Carnegie for the past 5 years. And one thing that I'd like to talk about with that Carnegie curriculum, because it is consumable, every year that we purchase it, it is actually updates every year that we're seeing with that. So it's great to see that they're adjusting and changing their curriculum year after year to help with the needs of all students. These structures that we have in place, the coaching, the common planning, and the instructional materials, these structures are going to make the work that we do internally sustainable for years to come, even after this grant is over. And now that we have this established foundation, we're ready to move to the next level, which is working on our instructional supports and our practices so we can better serve all of our students. The grant is going to support upper elementary through the middle school, so grades 4 all the way through 8. But we're going to focus on that 5th to 6th grade transition because we have seen, there is a dip in the MCAS scores, and it is a tough transition leaving elementary heading into middle school. So MTSS, it consists of 3 tiers of support. So that bottom tier, that is tier 1 instruction. That is universal classroom instruction that all students are going to receive. But things have changed in terms of math content, especially since I've been in school. Math isn't anymore about procedures and problems and rote memorization. It's highly conceptual now. And we're focusing more on reasoning and problem solving, and students are being asked to analyze and justify and explain their thinking. And all of this is proven to lead to deeper understanding. So our first area of focus is going to be to strengthen this Tier 1 foundation. From there, we move into Tier 2 supports. So after that universal instruction is given to all students, some students are going to need some additional practice, and some students are going to need enrichment. And so this is where those targeted interventions come in place based on the student data that we have. This tier 2, this is where the differentiation occurs. We will differentiate in classroom instruction as well as our classroom structures. And then lastly, there is the Tier 3 supports, and this is intensive intervention where students receive individual and one-on-one support. So we currently are doing all tiers of the support right now. We are implementing them, but the whole purpose of this grant is it's really going to help us strengthen and maximize our efforts.
So, outlined on this slide are some of the goals of the Tiered Math Academy. As Andrea pointed out, we want to strengthen our tiered instruction. In addition to that, a major focus is on building our in-district capacity. So this isn't just a one-and-done professional development. We're working to sustain this for years to come. Let me go to the next one. So this Tiered Math Academy goes in a cycle. So I want you to just take a look at this visual. You have this slide. So we started off obviously in the planning phase. We created a clear vision for implementation in the district, which at this point is to strengthen that tier one instruction. We will revise this vision as we move through that cycle. Next on the cycle is classroom visits. We completed some classroom visits at the beginning of the grant cycle to analyze some existing patterns. It determined strengths and needs, and since then, additional classroom visits have happened, and they are ongoing. Next is our professional development, which is obviously an important part of the cycle. We have 2 courses running currently. The elementary course is early fraction concepts, and at the secondary level, it's proportional reasoning. We currently have 8 teachers taking one of the 2 courses in district. These course opportunities will continue throughout the cycle of the grant. There are also multiple opportunities for attending workshops. In fact, the complex hosted an MTSS workshop on November 18th. Mr. Wittridge, I believe you were there, in which the other districts attended. As hosts, we were able to have 6 teachers attend that workshop. And we do plan to host another one later in the school year. Next in the cycle is coaching and implementation. Andrea and I have already gone through 3 cycles of coaching with our grant representative. With her, we have been supporting classroom teachers to implement planned lessons and activities. All of this work supports, as Andrea mentioned, that students' conceptual understanding of math. From there, and there is already evidence of this happening, we are building that internal capacity. Throughout the cycle and with coaching support, teachers will continue to implement those MTSS strategies, and these strategies, again, will be evident in our classrooms after the grant is over. Let me go to the next one. This just kind of outlines all of those supports in the cycle. So this is the end of our presentation. So we want to thank you for your time this evening. We'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the teachers we've been working with. We're very proud of the work they're doing at both the Belmonte and the middle school. Their willingness to try new things, they've really just jumped right in and made themselves vulnerable to try those new things that we've been working on. Their hard work and dedication has not gone unnoticed, so we really want to thank them all for their hard work.
A super competitive grant, and to be one of 11 districts to receive it, and the work that they did on the grant is really commendable. But to your point, you asked about 7th grade, and one of the first things that the consultant did under our guidance was go directly into the 7th grade classrooms. They were able to observe. They actually worked with the teachers already in 7th grade, helped them work on a lesson, watched the lesson, jumped right in. We were co-teaching. I was in the room, Andrea was in the room, the consultant was in the room, because we want to try to figure out what is going on. We know that Mark and Jim are outstanding teachers, but we have other great teachers too. So what is it that's missing in that connection? So, and to be able to now get 5th grade teachers together with 6th grade and 7th grade teachers who never get to see each other to say, this is what we're doing in 5th grade, come on down and watch. What do you need us to do to get them ready for 6th grade is really good. And it's exciting that this grant, again, will be sustainable over time. It's not just like a one-time purchase, but it's targeted just to what you said.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, no, 1 out of 11 is incredible. And you guys have been doing great work, so thank you very much. I just have one question. When did math become so complicated? Honestly, when we were in school, if you didn't understand it, they send you home with flashcards. You come back, you're a genius, you know?
Right,
Now,
well, that's the point now. Now parents say, what's with this new math? This isn't
it's crazy.
what I learned. Well, now it's conceptual. They want you to understand the why. They want you to understand the concept of what you're learning rather than just how to multiply and divide.
Jeez.
And I think it's great, I do, but these kids don't know how to give a tip when they go to a restaurant. They don't know percentages still. They don't know, this isn't towards you. This is frustrating on the end of, I mean, I'm all about understanding the deeper meaning and blah, 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 but sometimes my God, I just wish that we could just get back a little bit to like, the kids can't understand a deeper meaning and understand the concept and all this kind of stuff when they can barely multiply sometimes. It's very frustrating to watch, including my own. He'd kill me right now but in the store, I mean, he's 70, it's like,
Right. One of the things we're
I'm just-
working on,
yeah, I'm
honestly,
just
is the
feeling like
kids doing the work. So that is some of the stuff that we've been working on with teachers, is just changing the shift a little bit. The kids are now doing, well, not that they weren't always doing the work,
No,
but
I
now
know.
they're doing the work right from the get-go. So they're taking more ownership of their own math, their own learning. So we hope to grow that. As
yeah,
we
no, it's great. It's just
continue
what
working.
Mr. Witteridge said. Like, you didn't move on to division until you knew your multiplication. You didn't move on to percentages. And I just feel like, again, this isn't anything towards you guys. This is what we're doing now. This is the way life is. But these kids are not knowing how to multiply and divide and do percentages when they're getting out of high school. That's a problem. Like,
I actually just want to give a plug to a change that we've made in the math department. Our fourth year math class, we piloted it last year, and now this year it's called Financial Algebra, in which we're working all those personal finance components in. And kids are learning budgeting and taxes and college loans, and it's a huge
Thank
success.
you. Yeah. And again, my comment was not towards you guys. My comment was just a general feeling of like how frustrated, because everybody knows that I don't have a filter sometimes, and I sit up here and I look at all these studies and stats and numbers and this and that, and it's like, that's wonderful and great, but when I'm at the grill house the other night and I asked my son to leave the tip, and he's like, well, how do I... It's frustrating. It's very frustrating, but thank you for all your hard work. I appreciate it, and thank you to the teachers out there who probably spend countless amount pulling their hair out, wishing that we could just go back to flashcards, and so thank you very much.
I still have some flashcards, so if you need them, let me know.
Yeah.
I'd like to congratulate you to getting the grant. I think in this district, we have some great grant writers, and the way you guys pursue it as a team is great. So thank you for that, and thank you for doing the work. The only question I have, after the 3 years is all said and done, are we going to be, to Stephanie's earlier point on the other one, once the grant is out, are we going to be responsible for sustaining either manpower or some financial commitment to keep it forward?
So, like Mr. Hashem said, the resources are consumable, so those will have to purchased every year. But the techniques that we're teaching teachers about lesson internalization, how to get your class to do the thinking and learning instead of the teacher doing the direct instruction, what strategies can you use to help struggling learners and to push students further for enrichment. All of those things are going to be things that teachers have learned along the way, and they're going to be able to carry that over and over, and then hopefully mentor any new teachers who are.
Results, the analyzing of it, the
Cost.
the cost, we could talk about the cost as well, but a lot of it is, as far as the implementation goes, where we're going with the instruction and the teaching and learning. And if you want to sit down and ask any questions 1-on-2, or however you
Yes.
want to say that, we're willing
That'd be
to
great.
meet with each of you individually if you have questions that you think of after this meeting. Because I know if I was sitting in your seats, there's a lot to take in, and you might not have a question now, but you might the moment you walk out the door. Please email me, and I'll arrange, and we can sit down and go through it. I've already emailed you, so.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Chair, we have a student rep here now.
You want to take Bree?
Yeah, let's.
Bree, you want to come up?
Bree, come on.
Hi, Hi, my name is Rihanna Bido, and I have some updates for the class of 2028. So, Color Day was a success. We didn't win anything, but we did a lot better than last year, because last year was like very bad to watch. This year it was a lot better. Monday, December 15th, we're going to be having a bake sale on the high school side, and then Tuesday, the 16th, we're going to be having a bake sale on the middle school side. We're going to be canning at Pachi's Saturday, December 20th, 3 to 9 p.m. We haven't decided a date yet, but we will be having a church bake sale at a church. We haven't decided which one yet, but 4 o'clock mass. And we have decided on a date for our semi-formal. We'll be having it March 6th, and it'll be sophomores and freshmen invited. And then finally, we also have some extra class shirts, which we're going to be selling. We're going to be having a gingerbread competition sometime soon, so we're thinking that could be a prize. But if not, they're still able to be purchased.
Awesome. You know, Bree, you should talk to the other classes too, you know, because you guys do so much fundraising and everything else. It's incredible. So you really do a great job.
Money.
What's that?
We're actually very behind on money.
Are you? No. No, but you guys do a great job. So
What's
thank
your
you.
goal?
We need to be by 4,000 by January.
Where are you at?
2,000.
Oh, you guys will get there.
We'll get there eventually.
Canning at Pachi's alone will get you 2,000.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be going around to different businesses. We're going to have flyers and asking if any companies would like to donate. So we're going to be doing that.
Oh, nice.
Wonderful.
Great.
Nice job.
Thank you.
You do a great job
Thank you.
representing your class.
Great job.
And I'm so sorry for walking in. I wasn't aware that it
That's
started
all right.
yet.
It's okay.
Thank
No
you.
worries.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
So cute.
All right, so next up, we have discussion on recognizing our district administrators as a collective bargaining unit. And I believe Mr. Matt Serino is the presenter on this.
Mr. Chair, it probably should be worded, it's administrators in the district. It's not district level administrators.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll let
I,
him.
yeah, I can give you a brief, so the positions that we're referring to here would be myself, the director of guidance, and then all of the assistant principals in the district. So that's the group that we're here to represent, to ask for your approval or support in forming our collective bargaining unit. I think that, you know, there's been a bit of turnover in the administrative positions over the years. We like to feel as though we have a pretty good group right now. Principals could say otherwise, but we like to feel like we have a pretty good group, and I feel as though we feel as a group that this would just help in unity, would help in support, but more important, it would be stability. And I think with that, stability obviously turns over to, you know, you build that relationship with the staff, you build that relationship with the students. So the longer you can keep administration in those positions, it just strengthens your district, it strengthens the kids, can help with all these scores and supporting one another. So we're just here to ask for your support in that.
All right. Anybody got any questions for Mr. Serino?
I really don't know what it means, to be honest with you. I mean, what's the,
Well, let me just ask one question before you ask that. Do you need our approval, or do you need our support?
Support, approval, I mean.
No, what I mean is, like, do we have to say, hey, yeah, you know, you guys can do this, or you guys can't do this?
My understanding is it would be great to have your support. If you were to say no or not support it, I believe we can still get to that end goal. It would just be a little bit lengthier of a
gotcha,
process.
gotcha.
Mr. Chairman, part of, in our executive session, one thing we could talk about, because this would be negotiating with a bargaining unit.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
we could discuss
Yeah.
the formality in a few minutes.
Okay.
yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to table any,
Oh, no, no,
Yeah, we're not gonna vote on anything today. We're just
Okay.
gonna, he's bringing it to us. We're probably gonna get some more information, I
Yep.
take it?
Absolutely.
yeah, I just would like to understand it.
Right, right,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
Same.
All right, well, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Trainer.
I know you've been very busy, so thank you. All right, next up, we have acceptance of Vision Inc., DBA O'Connor Studios, donation in the amount of $3,578.27. That is for the Belmonte STEAM Academy, PTO.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'm sorry, that's not for the PTO.
No.
It's just for the Belmonte STEAM Academy.
Yep.
Sorry, Brian, you say you made a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to
All
accept.
right, Chair will second. Money, so Ms. McBride?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, motion carries 5-0. Okay, next we have an acceptance of memorial contribution by Claire Cuddy in the amount of $25 in the memory of Sherry Shapolsky.
I'll make a motion.
Chair will second. Any discussion? Okay, if none?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, next we have approval of school committee minutes of November 20th, 2025, open session.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Chair will second. Anybody have any discussion on it? If none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Approval of school committee minutes of November 20, 2025, executive session.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Chair will second. Any discussion? If none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0. And next up, we have subcommittee discussion of volunteer members for the athletic subcommittee.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I forwarded the names of those that expressed interest in the athletic subcommittee, I believe to Mr. Doherty and Mr. Gould. I'm not sure if you got a chance to look at them. There are currently two community members that are on it for one more year of the 2-year term. There are, given the vast number of people that want to be part of it, there would be 2 more open seats that we could have for members. So I gave you about 7 or 8 that came forward.
Yeah.
So right now, you are in charge of this. I believe, who's the chair, Mr. Gould?
I am, yeah.
If you want to discuss how you want to.
Well, I haven't really had a chance to talk to Brian about this
Okay.
since he was gone. And I didn't know 6 out of the 8 people that put in for it. I did know 2 of them that were very qualified, which I would highly recommend to be put on it, but I didn't get a chance to talk to Brian to find out if he knew the other 6 and if we should do some interviews or whatever he might think. But I asked for the emails that went in with these names, but I never got any data. All I got was the names. So
They basically reached out and said they expressed interest.
no, I understand that, but for me, for historical reasons, I don't know who they are, so I was kind of hoping they would say, you know, they had coached, or they did this, or they did that, or the reason they wanted to be part of the committee before I could even evaluate them. So in fairness to the people who put in for it, I don't know if you had a chance, Brian, but I haven't evaluated
No problem.
6 of them.
Yeah, and I just got
I
back
know
from
you're
Florida,
doing-
so I
so
looked, and I know a couple additional names, but it's probably worth us just getting
Just
like
table it,
a,
you don't have to
we'll
do
table it,
anything. Yeah.
and then it'd be nice to maybe get,
Yeah, I think
not that
it'd
we
be
need to have
fair.
like a formal interview, but just what's your background from each of them? Because
Yeah.
the ones, I would just wanna be fair to the ones I don't know,
Yeah, absolutely.
to understand
Yeah,
why they're
me too.
Makes
interested.
perfect sense.
So, Brian, you know, I'll make a motion we table until,
Yeah, we could table till January, yeah.
if Mr. Sereno needs a meeting, before that, we can do it with what we have already,
Correct.
Because
and then we
Yeah,
can
it's not.
backfill.
Correct.
he left anyway, so.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'll
we,
take
all
a motion to table.
right, so Mr. Gould has a motion to table. Chair will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0. All right, next up, we have public comment. Anybody here for public comment? Howard? No, okay. Nobody else? Okay, if none, we're gonna recess to executive session to discuss strategy with respect to litigation that the chair declares that the open meeting may have a detrimental effect.
No, that's
Is
all
that-
right.
Didn't you?
Yeah, I do have one comment before we go over, go ahead.
Well, I can't read the motion and then have you make a comment, so if you wanna make a comment, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Had a good meeting with Mr. Blair and Mr. Faboris today over at the Belmonte STEAM Academy on the library. Right now, all I'm announcing is that we're gonna be looking for some volunteers to help organize the library, do some cataloging and labeling and organized by fiction, nonfiction, biography, et cetera, and get that library really operational. We took 4 elementary schools, bunch of volunteers, we took 4 elementary schools' books, and we piled them all together, and we tried to do the best we could, sending 2 to 5 to Belmonte, but it's not really the best mix, so there's a lot of work to be done, and we'll be requesting some volunteers in the future. Thank you.
Okay, you got it. So now we're gonna recess to executive session to discuss strategy with respect to litigation that the chair declares that an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the litigant position of the public body. We will not return to open session. Attending executive session will be Mr. Gould, Ms. Mastercola, Mr. Wittridge, Ms. McCarthy, and Mr. Doherty, the superintendent, Mr. Greenspan over there, and Ms. McBride. So can I get a motion to?
So,
Actually, I'm sorry, we gotta get a roll call.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Gould?
yes.
Mrs. Mastercola?
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy?
Yes.
Mr. Wittridge?
Yes. Okay, motion carries 5-0. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.